Rocky Mountain Public Broadcasting Network, enriching the lives of Coloradans through engaging and essential programs, services, and community partnerships that inform, enlighten, and entertain. What does public media mean to you?
We were on vacation and Finn and his dad were about to go on a submarine tour. They had held up this sponge, and before they could say what it was, Finn said, "Oh, that's a sponge." And they looked at each other and they said, "Well, yes, it is." And then he said, "Oh yeah, turtles eat those." And they said, "Yes, they do. How do you know that?" And he said, "Oh, I learned it from wildcrats." He wasn't even yet 4 years old, but already he had learned something that he retained and was able to use. And that's totally down to PBS Kids.
Colorado families trust Rocky Mountain PBS to educate and entertain their children in a safe and reliable environment, reaching 99% of all TV households in Colorado, with 30% of our programming dedicated to children. Colorado's families know that any time is learning time on Rocky Mountain PBS.
I love teaching middle school and young adolescents. Studying history is really important so that young people begin to develop empathy. Colorado Experience has provided for my students an understanding of how individuals have contributed. Having a digital media source that's publicly and very, very easily accessible is an incredible way for everyone to learn.
Hit up, hit up, hit. Sharing my love of music with kids makes me feel whole. It makes me feel complete. I remember my first guitar when I was little and I didn't even know what I was doing, but I had Beatles tapes and so I would play along. It really struck me that this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. At the end of high school and definitely through the jazz program and getting the opportunity to play on Kuvo. I listen to jazz every morning on KUVO. It's my daily routine, and one of my more favorite parts is I don't get blasted with a bunch of commercials, and it's music, and it's intelligent music.
Jazz 89, KUVO.
Voted the #1 jazz station in the world by the London Telegraph, Kuvo is an anchor for music lovers across the globe. And with 2 additional HD radio channels, listeners can hear an eclectic mix of music or get news 24 hours a day.
Growing up in the Montbello community with the talk about the schools failing, it was an obstacle that I had to overcome. That judgment that came with this failing school stigma, it made it tough. I realized the inequity in the midst of the experience. We knew as students that, an A in our classroom did not mean the same as an A in a community across the state. To see the data, it definitely confirmed that I wasn't crazy. That, this was a true reality. Standing in the Gap was a documentary that was presented on Rocky Mountain PBS. The outreach of Standing in the Gap was extremely important. It brought the conversation to the table. It also empowered action. And now you have an opportunity to connect and say, what are we going to do about it? When you talk about a public broadcasting station that is going to simply bring the truth and the reality without the agenda, that's the reason why it's important. We've got to be able to have a platform and an outlet that we can give the honest truth to. It secures our voice.
Rocky Mountain PBS News is a newsroom unlike any other. We cover important stories that other newsrooms don't, and then we share those multimedia stories with more than 100 news organizations across the region. Our experienced team of investigative reporters and data journalists are skilled at turning complex topics into compelling journalism, and we are extremely proud of the impact these stories have. From community dialogue and understanding to changes in state laws and regulations, we tell stories that make a difference. Lifelong learning, in-depth public service journalism, and unequaled arts, culture, and heritage programs. We are the largest membership organization in the state, thanks to hundreds of dedicated volunteers, community partners, and our loyal base of members. On television, online, on our app, on the radio, and across all digital platforms, over 1 million Coloradans turn to us every week for award-winning programs, As we move into an ever more digital future, we are committed to serving as your source for inspiration and education for decades to come. Rocky Mountain Public Broadcasting Network, changing the face of public media throughout Colorado and beyond.